Welcome to the Copilot Cafe. In this session, we are going to be talking about prompting best practice, and this is lesson 1. So this is right at the beginning. What even is a prompt? Why do you need it? How is it going to help you talk to Copilot? How is it going to help you get the best out of Copilot? I'm going to explain all of these things to you so that you can follow on in the other lessons and start playing with those prompts in different apps. They're going to be in other sessions, but let's just get started. Let's think about what on earth a prompt really is. So when I think about Copilot, I think about it as my new personal genius at work. I think about it being the cleverest colleague I have, a colleague that is never going to get bored of me asking the same questions over and over again, or it's never going to get bored with me being on the same topic and just keep pushing and pushing for more information. It's also that safe place. So if I feel like I've got a silly question that I should really know, I can go and ask Copilot, and Copilot's not judging me. It's just going to give me the answer. So that's how I feel about Copilot. The difference being that I have to speak to Copilot in a little bit more of a different way that I'm used to speaking to a computer. I do have to speak to it like it is a colleague. So if I think about the way I would converse with my colleagues, if we were working on a new project or building a new event, I would give them as much information as possible so that they could help me gain new ideas. And that's the same as Copilot. I have to give it lots and lots of information in order to get great ideas back. Now, unlike some of my colleagues who have a limited knowledge, my new Copilot best friend has multiple PhDs, speaks several languages, and I can talk to him about everything. So it's not, I feel like I've got a full network of people all wrapped up into that digital assistant. Now, computers are going through this huge change with AI being sat right with you at your desk instead of hidden away in the background. But the real change actually needs to happen with me. I need to learn how to interact with Copilot in a different way. And to be honest, I'm probably my main limitation, because if I don't start building new habits and I don't start building new behaviors, I won't get the best out of Copilot. So let me just go through that with you in a bit more detail. I am my biggest limitation because my imagination is limited. I need to understand what it can do. I find the best way to find out what Copilot can do is to look at other people's prompts. Share as many prompts and different scenarios and different ideas between yourselves and your colleagues so that you learn about what is possible, and then iterate. You get a great prompt, add a bit more to it, have a play about it. You're not going to break anything. So use your imagination. What could be possible? And then just how do you do it? And that's what we're going to really cover today. So 1, you need to know what the art of the possible is. And 2, you need to know, well, how do I actually put this together? Now, if I'm explaining how to converse with Copilot or AI with my colleagues, this is how I usually explain it. If you've used ChatGPT before, or if you've used Copilot at all, you'll have heard this word prompting or prompt engineering. And really, this is just how we converse with Copilot. It's how we ask it to do something for us. Now, in order to get what you want from Copilot, as I said, you need to be really clear on what it is you want to achieve. We are moving away from keyword searching. This isn't sticking 3 words in a search engine to get 100 results back that you then have to search for. This is telling somebody what you want the outcome to be and explaining why you're pulling this information together, so that will go away then and search and give you the results, rather than you going for 100 different websites looking for that information. Now, this might seem silly, but I'm going to give you an example of what I mean by giving clarity. If I wanted my son to be ready for school, I can't just say to him, I need you to be ready for school. I need to explain to him what ready for school looks like. Because if I say to him, are you ready for school? And he go, yeah, I'm ready. Okay, well, have you got your coat on? No. Have you had your breakfast? No. Have you brushed your teeth? No. And you haven't got your coat on and you're not stood near the door. You're not ready for school. What I needed to say to him, because ready for school to me meant you're all brushed your teeth, you've had your breakfast, you've got your coat on and your bag, and you stood at the door. That's ready for school. That's what I should have explained to him at the beginning. So I should have said, I need you to be ready for school. And then that means I need you to have brushed your teeth, combed your hair, put your coat on, had your breakfast, got your bag, and I need you to be stood next to that door, ready for the school bus because you need to be leaving in 30 minutes. That's the kind of level of clarity that I needed to give him in order for him to be stood at that door. And this is exactly how we need to speak to Copilot if we want to get those kind of results. Now, we do have a great recipe that you can follow, a bit of a methodology even, that you can follow to try to remember what to add to your prompts. And we call it the GCSE method. So if I look at that example that I just gave you about my son and for school, I gave him a goal, get ready for school and have eaten breakfast, brush teeth, bag, and have coat on. That's what I need to have happened. And why do I need it? What's the context? Well, the school bus is going in 30 minutes. So you need to be ready. And where can you find this information that you need to achieve this? Well, the toothbrush is in your bathroom, your coat and bag are in the hall, any other information I should have given him. And then expectations. I need you to do this quickly because if you don't, we're not going to be on time. So if I think about the goal, the context, the source, the expectation, this will make sure that I've got everything that I need for my prompt. So if I give this a work example, my goal here, so what response do you want from Copilot? I want you to generate 3 to 5 bullets. And what's the context? So why do you need it and who is involved? Well, to prepare me for a meeting with a certain customer to discuss a certain subject. Okay, so what is the source? Well, the source is you can find this information in my emails, in my Teams chat, and only go back to June. Don't bother trying to check more longer than that because the project wasn't started then. And then expectations. I need you to use simple language and I need to get up to speed really quickly. So this is why I'm asking for this information. So again, that GCSE method. So let's just break that down a little bit further. So the goal, what response do you want? I need to make a marketing strategy. That's what I'm trying to actually achieve. Context. Why do you need it? Who is involved? Well, we're opening a Copilot cafe and I need to create and present a marketing strategy to stakeholders so that we can request a budget. So that's why I'm doing this. And then the source. Well, actually, if you go to this document, and we'll come on to different prompts in future sessions, but you'll see here I've highlighted a / in Copilot. When we want to reference a person, a file, a meeting, we will use this / and that will connect us to our data. So use the / so I'm picking up the marketing research document here and this other transcripts document. That's where you're going to find the information that I want you to go and read. And their expectation. So how should Copilot respond to best meet the expectation? Well, I'd like this in less than 5,000 words and I need an exec summary. So if you don't remember anything from this session, all you need to remember is GCSE. What's your goal? What's the context? Tell me all about it. Where can I go to find that information and any other expectations that you have got? Now, this is kind of what we tend to see when people start using prompts. So we will see things like, summarize my emails. Now, they might have an inbox of 3,000 emails. Copilot isn't going to search through all 3,000 emails and give you a really good result. So why do you want to summarize the emails and how far back do you want to go? What is it you are actually trying to achieve? What you really wanted to do in this case might have been, From the emails over the last week, create a table of actions. Include whose action it is, who's it assigned to, when's it due. I need to have a good structure to organize my day. I need it to be concise. So I've given it a lot of information there, because in order to get what I need to be really clear. So if we take our GCSE method here and we align that, the goal is to create a table of actions. The context is that I need to organize my day. The source is emails from the over the past week. And then the expectation is that the person assigned, I'll be able to see what action is aligned to who it's assigned to and when is it going to be due, and I need it to be concise. So again, GCSE. Now, ask the right questions to get the right answers. This is why it's really important. So give you some more tips here. Check out the default prompts first and maybe build on them. So this is a great place to get started. So when you ask a question of Copilot, it will come up and it will give you some other follow-on questions that you might want to ask. Or if you're in an app and you select Copilot, you will see down the right-hand rail that there's actually some prompts that you might want to try. Or in the actual prompt box, you'll see that there's a view prompts, and you've got more prompts that they think you might be interested in. And you don't have to use them exactly how they're shown. You can actually just iterate on them, ask more questions. Give as much information as possible. I think I've been really clear here, but also you might want to think about the tone, the length, the format. So if you're asking for it to create a 2-paragraph summary of a 50-page document, you might want to say, well, this is really formal. It's for our exec sponsors. I do want it in 2 paragraphs. So you've been really clear with what you want that to look like. Share the exact source to get the more accurate results. So when I showed you before, I pressed / and said, look at this document. If you can say, I want you to look at this person, this document, this meeting, these emails, and you're really clear where the source of the information is, especially documents, like go and have a look at this document. It means it's not searching everything. It's searching exactly where it knows the information is, and it's going to pull out the results a lot quicker, and they're going to be a lot more effective. And then, as you'd expect, GCSE, I'm just going to keep saying it so you can remember it. Follow that methodology, and that is definitely going to help. All right, so some things not to do. Don't think that Copilot knows what you're thinking. It only knows what you've told it. So whether you follow that GCSE, but you've gave it loads of information, but actually you meant something else, it doesn't know you meant something else. It only knows what you told it. If you give a vague prompt, it's going to give you a vague response. So you put your prompt in and then you see the result and you're like, that's not what I expected. That's not helpful. Go back and have a think. Did I give Copilot everything it needed to get me a great result? If not, give it another go. Next thing, don't be rude, don't be inappropriate, and don't be unethical. So you are responsible for the content and the consequences that come from that content. So just because Copilot wrote it for you, that doesn't mean it's not your words. So if you share that out and it's not quite where it should be, that's on you. So always read whatever Copilot has put together. Make sure it's legit. Make sure it's not hallucinated or it's picked up data that's from 15 years ago that's not relevant. Whenever you've gone searching, it's going to give you the list of resources it got that information from. So check it's definitely 100%. Go back and just have a quick scan at the resources it pointed to. Make sure that they're the right resources, that they're not coming from an unethical author. And you are responsible for that content. So have a think about where it's being shared. who it's being shared to. Are there any rules or rights that you need to consider? Don't use slang or jargon if possible. I mean, it does understand some. It has learned that certain words mean certain things. However, don't expect that to happen. So where possible, just take out the jargon, take out the slang. It's going to give you better responses. And then don't change the topic without letting Copilot know. Can you imagine being in a conversation with your colleagues and then suddenly somebody changes the topic really quickly, but there's no clear break or there's no alignment to the previous conversation? It'd get really confusing for everybody. Copilot will get confused too. So if you are changing the topic, press new chat or new topic, let it know that we're now not talking about the same thing, because otherwise you might get results from that previous conversation. So it's going back and looking at everything you've just said in the previous conversations and thinks, okay, we're still talking about the Olympics, but actually you've moved on to the weather. Let it know. All right, let me just show you a little example of what I mean by not giving you information. So I've got I'm in Copilot chat in Teams here, and I'm just going to ask Copilot to review my calendar for Monday. So really short, not a lot going on there. But it's probably going to give me a decent result. It knows my calendar. So here I can see I've got times, who it's with. And that's okay. But is that actually what I really wanted? Because what I really wanted was a more granular view of where I've got breaks, who I'm speaking to, why I'm speaking to them. So I might put in a prompt like this: review my calendar for Monday, and I've kept this prompt, so save all my favorite prompts. Provide a table, include descriptions, agendas, the participants, organize hour by hour, include a buffer time to prep before each meeting. So it's going to go away and have a look at my calendar for Monday now and just let me know exactly what is going on here. So now you can see it's put in a table for me. I've got times, I've got a link there to each of these individual meetings. There's a description, there's the agenda, and actually who's involved in that meeting too. So a lot more information. It's going to be a lot more helpful to me. And that's because I gave Copilot more information to work with. Now, Copilot is really, really clever. It's not here just to help me find that document, summarize this. It can do so much more. As I said, it's like you've got your new best work colleague has got a PhD in most subjects. So you could ask it to help you with some ideas. Think about, okay, I'm having this event and I want this to be the impact. What ideas has Copilot got that could maybe help you? You might have some great ideas, but actually Copilot might have a couple of extra that you haven't even thought about. So help you be more creative. I'm always one of these people that, you go into, you join a pub quiz and I can't get past trying to think of a quiz name or team name. I really struggle with things like that just to get me started. But once I'm, starting to think of some ideas, I come out with tons. I build on other people's ideas. Copilot's great at helping you get started there. So you could ask it for some ideas and then you might spark your own imagination even further. Gain insight as well. Ask Copilot about meetings that have happened before, about documents that you have been shared with you, or emails, questions that you've been asked. You can ask Copilot to have a look at that document and consider what is missing, or what questions you should be asking of it, or what questions you'd expect people to ask about this new project or this new event. So think about it as that extra person in your team that is really, really smart, that you can just bounce off. Get them to check your work. Get them to get Copilot to say, okay, I can see you had that meeting and you have these objectives. Maybe you actually want to do this for a follow-up. Maybe you should have the next meeting should have this on the agenda. Copilot's really smart. Ask it to help you. I love this as well. I call this the explainer. How many times you sit in a meeting and people start talking about something you have no idea what they're talking about. Now, it could just be me. I work for a tech company. Sometimes people just go off with abbreviations all over the place. I have no idea what they're talking about. In the background, I can be in my safe area and I can be asking Copilot, tell me what this abbreviation is. What does this word actually mean? So, and explain it to me like I'm a beginner, or explain it to me like I'm 13. So, get Copilot to help you with explanations. You could even ask it to translate things into different languages. So if English isn't your first language and you would like it translating the last meeting minutes into your own language, you could ask it to do that too. And then finally here, and this is just my top ones. There's loads more reasons I would say to use Copilot, and I'll probably share them in future sessions. But solve problems. Right, so computer's not working, don't ring IT, you probably search the web and go through 30 different documents or websites with God knows how many pop-ups and download requests and things to find your answer. Just ask Copilot, right? One of the areas I find this really useful is say you've got a new application like New Outlook. Where's the features gone that I used to use? Where have they moved to? I can ask Copilot, like, I want to do this now. Where did that button go to? So ask Copilot to help you with some of those tech skills even. Now, I've probably mentioned this a number of times, but the best way to converse with Copilot is by using this microphone. Anywhere you see a microphone on any of the Copilot apps, that is going to be really, really helpful because we are conversing with Copilot. We're not keyword searching. We're just asking it like it's our new best friend. So press the microphone and just ask for what you want. Now, if you're in a place where that microphone doesn't exist, you get to use my favorite accessibility feature, which is Windows key plus H. And that will bring up this amazing dictation box. Press the button and speak. It even understands my pretty strong accent when some of my colleagues don't. This dictate button has got it in hand and it pops in everything I say quite clearly. So give that a go if there isn't this microphone, but the microphone is brilliant. All right, so just to summarize on lesson number 1, keep it simple, keep it conversational. Use everyday language as if you were just talking to a friend over coffee. Be specific. Clarity is key. Give it everything it needs. Think about this as if you were talking to the new starter, an intern even, somebody who's just started in the role. Be really clear on exactly what you want the outcome to be and some of the steps that they could take to get there and the source of that information. So don't forget GCSE. Know what to avoid when creating a prompt. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't try to make that 3-hour process into one prompt and think that's going to work. You're going to need to break that down. So, make sure you do it in small, manageable steps. Copilot is amazing at removing those repeatable activities, actions that you would do during the day. So say there's something that takes up your time and you think, if I had a personal assistant, I would give that to the personal assistant to do. But it takes up 10 minutes of your time, but you do it 5 times a day or 10 times a week. Copilot could probably pick up some of those types of jobs. So have a think about that. And then assumptions. Don't assume Copilot has the context from previous interactions unless you're within the same session. It doesn't remember that 5 chats ago, when you've refreshed the chat, that 5 chats ago you asked about certain information. So don't think that is the case. And I already mentioned this. Understand Copilot's limits. Break down complex tasks. Just simplify it into more manageable responses manageable steps, you'll get better responses. Another top tip I would say is all your favorite prompts, bookmark them, keep them somewhere, because you'll be able to use those again. There are prompts that I use when I'm putting together my Copilot Cafe stuff. And I just literally copy and paste, maybe edit them a little bit to get what I want. But I'm not recreating prompts every 2 minutes. And then be polite. You wouldn't be rude to a colleague, so don't be rude to Copilot. Be polite, set the tone for the kind of response that you want. Generative AI mirrors the levels of professionalism you give it. It mirrors the levels of clarity and the detail that you give. So get out, speak to people as you would like to be spoken to, as my mother would say. Be curious. You're not going to break anything. Just keep trying, keep iterating, keep editing and changing up what you do. Be curious. If you see Copilot in one of the apps, press it. Go and see what some of the default prompts are. It's going to spark your imagination and think about what is possible. And then, as I said, test and refine. You might not get what you want exactly at the box. There's nothing wrong with editing it. Add the bits that you want, take the bits out that you don't need. Just fine tune that approach. And if you get stuck, the best place to go and ask is Copilot. Copilot will even help you create those prompts. You tell it what you're trying to do and say, give me 10 best prompts that you would suggest for me to get the best responses. It will even help you. Just talk to it like it is a colleague. You're going to get a lot more out of it. And I'm going to leave you with 10 things to go and try. So this is your homework for this week, for this lesson 1. Go away, try and do some really simple things if this is the first time you're using it. Go and look at recapping a meeting. Go and summarize email thread. I will say that New Outlook is the best place to get Copilot features rather than the classic one. It has all the latest. So New Outlook, definitely go away and be patient with it. It is a change. Nobody likes change, but it does have some great Copilot features. Think about asking for information from a document. Help me summarize this. Give me 15 FAQs. Think about all the different things. And if you get stuck and you're like, okay, I have no idea where to start here, if you go to aka.ms/Copilot Lab, you can filter on Excel, PowerPoint, all the different features, and it will give you a big list of prompts that you might want to go and try. And that is it. I hope you find that useful. Do come and join us for lesson 2, where we're going to do more of a deeper dive into trying out some different prompts. We're going to start with Copilot Chat. I'm going to have a look at that probably in Teams and in Edge and in Outlook. I'll show you all of those places, why you would find it useful. So for myself and Arthur, who's been sat very nicely watching and listening, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Thanks, everybody.
Welcome to the Copilot Cafe. Join Joe for a 10-minute stay. Learn new tips every day with demo